up to the boys. Fox and Shane, set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a penny town red. Can't let that go play in my head, wargaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. I am Shane, as always, hanging out with Fox,
Mochaben,
and of course, Churchy.
I'm in the void.
He's in the void. Been in the void for a while now, Churchy.
Someone say he lives there.
Yep, resides there. We have played a game, which is what we generally do on this podcast, a game that I have not played before, and you have played several times.
Yeah, which is usually what we do on the podcast. So
Yeah, sometimes roles reverse. Rarely.
Yeah, rarely.
We played some Infinity.
We did. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about Infinity because it's been. I feel like we've ever. I mean, we couldn't have dedicated an episode to it. I feel like potentially we've talked about it. I've tried to explain it to you in the past. I definitely have on a Beers and Banter, I think, talked about the Haqqislam faction.
Yeah, I think Infinity's always been one of those things we talked about, like in passing. It's always like, it might be something we just like throw to.
It's an assumed knowledge in the Discordosphere.
Yes.
So, which is great because we have a Corvus Belly channel in the Discord, which is a company that makes Infinity spoilers, which is reasonably active because we got some people buzzing around it.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so we thought we'd talk a little bit about Infinity and the game that we played.
Yeah,
So for those who are just like, what? I mean, Infinity is just a concept of an infinite number.
It really is. That's what it means.
So why are they talking about a mathematical concept?
Well, my friend, you have got yourself in for a treat.
It's actually
So buckle up.
A tabletop game made by Corvus Belly in 2005.
Yeah, 2005 seems like so long ago.
It was.
It really wasn't
almost
that long ago.
2 decades ago.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't that long ago.
There are people, so they made Corvus Belly could go buy a drink. Sorry, not Corvus Belly. Infinity could go buy a drink.
Go buy a drink, yes.
It's turning 18
In
this
Australia.
year. Yeah, in Australia.
Not in America and Canada and
No.
those parts of the world.
Those sober parts of the world. Yeah. So come to Australia, Infinity, and have a beer with us. So it's like a skirmish sci-fi game. Change the record. There's a billion of those.
There's so many of those. But this one, from what we've played, does it well.
Yeah, and it's got a really cool, it's like I would say a cyberpunk aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
In the terrain, the models. I actually remember when we first sort of saw it, we were talking about how generic sci-fi it is.
Yeah.
And then there was just one day where I just kind of went in and I was just like, actually, no, these are beautiful models.
Yeah, they really are. That's one thing that I always find myself, whenever a store has them on the shelf, I'm always picking them up, looking at them, usually thinking like how they're going to work for parsecs, but they are more than just that. They are their own thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I think when you look at a wall of Infinity, you see they've got like 9 or 10 factions, I think.
Yeah.
And they all look, I don't say samey.
Yeah.
But a lot of them do.
It's like big robot guys, small nimble guys.
Yeah.
Maybe guys on like bikes.
They've always got bikes. The bikes.
Some of them have one-wheel bikes, which I'm not a fan of.
I'm not a fan. I didn't even know that. I'm not a fan of that either.
It's awful.
You know what? Let's change this to us shitting on Infinity for the next 20 minutes.
Because they have unibikes.
They shouldn't, though.
Yeah.
That's on them. That's their fault.
That is.
They need to accept the criticism.
Yep.
Move on and stop making unicycles.
Yeah.
What did we play in the circuit? Anyways. So that was that was my reservation, and probably yours as well. Look kind of samey. All the factions look, and when you go from Warhammer, which was our love at the time, it's like every faction in that is so different and so iconic, and you can look at it and know what it's from.
Oh, like at a glance.
Infinity, I'm like, but okay, so it's yellow, so it belongs to that faction, and that one's blue, so it belongs to
my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only knock I would say on the aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I do love the cyberpunk, the more, I would say, realistic take on sci-fi.
Definitely, yeah. Like the guns aren't overdone. Like everything's proportioned well.
Yeah.
There's some really cool things, like some of the ones you have there, like the blades and the swords. Like they're like power swords, but they're not.
Yeah.
You know, like you can tell that they're a sci-fi sword, but they're still a metal blade. They're not some sort of like dark magic going on
Totally.
there.
Yeah, that's it. There's no magic or anything crazy like that. And like some of them just look like they're in Iron Man suits. It looks like the kind of world that could exist in 200 years. You're not so detached from the idea of it. Whereas some other games that are set many more tens of thousands of years in the future is you're completely detached because you can't imagine yourself in there.
That's right.
It's anyways. So I like that aspect of it. Then it also doesn't have that weird abstract thing like Star Wars has. It's very grounded in realism. So that's cool. I also like that among the 9 factions, there's so much customization in the way you can make fire teams and sub-factions, and you have like sectorials and all this other stuff. So the game itself is really deep with how you build your stuff, which is cool. Someone in the Discord, it was Numa, made a great point that I'd never thought of. In Infinity, there isn't faction-specific rules.
Okay.
They have general rules for everyone. You have mimetism, whatever it's called, I got it. You got smoke grenades, I got it. You got medics, I got it. You got hackers, I got it. Etc. But they flavor the armies with how well they do certain things.
Okay, so like one faction will be just better at hacking.
Or have more
else.
hacking options.
Okay.
So like Hack Islam is mostly medics and things like that.
I remember you sending me multiple voice messages, probably 15 minutes worth in a single breath.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
Of when you were discovering Hack Islam and the lore and all that, just in that one single faction. Because like you had hyped me up for Infinity. Because I was like, wow, like this game that like it's got a few models. What, they're metal. And then I'm like, oh, maybe there is more. And then that's, picked up like nomads and stuff like that. But
dope models.
They are.
And nomads have sweet lore. Like they are nomads. They're just on ships. They move around. And how they got there is really cool because everyone's lore is integrated in today's world. It starts from now.
Oh, really?
And how they became who they are is basically, it tells you how the next, I don't know how long it is. Let's say 200 years plays out. And that is how they got from where we are now to who they are now. So that aspect of it's really cool. And the lore blew me away. I wasn't expecting such deep, rich lore for such, I don't want to say like a new game, because it's almost, can buy a beer. But at the same time, in terms of its, when you compare it to other older games that have just a massive
40K
library.
has had, just decades to build the lore. And everything like that, and Black Library books and all that. But like Infinity, which have novels and that now. Am I right?
For sure. 100%. I'm sure that's probably a thing. No, I think it does. I saw a book, I swear. Operation Blackwind, I think that's a book as well. So it's awesome that they've got so much to start with now and to think that this is going to keep on growing. It's great. So sci-fi, cyberpunk, great lore, cool customization in your armies. Uses D20s, and that's it. So that's cool.
That was interesting. I like that. We'll talk about that a bit more later.
For sure. I didn't bring my own D20s, so I'm glad you had a myriad of them.
I still got more.
No, well, let's do it.
Big one. It's like that big.
We didn't need too many, but that chunky one would have helped. And like you said, actually, metal models. These are some defining features of Infinity. D20s, metal models, a mechanic called AROs, which we'll talk about later. And the way they do order tokens on your turn. And how you can share it between your troops, which we'll talk about. Also, like that typically it's played on a really dense and layered terrain map.
And terrain seems to play a massive part in how everything works. Like even in our game, like it was always a point where it's like, how can I be in cover? Because cover was such a benefit.
No game has like thinking about what you were saying there. No game has made me feel like I'm operating a Black Ops team. Using like actual SEAL Team 6 tactics like Infinity does.
Oh, yeah, man. You were explaining it to me earlier about how like you might have some factions, like when it comes to facing, you'll have models that you'll dedicate to sit at the back of the table facing the other way in anticipation of your opponent, infiltrating and dropping guys in the back.
You set them up with like firing angle, or like holding arcs and angles. defensively, and that might be all they do all game.
Yep.
You're just trying to hold that and
Covering
get
someone's
arrow.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got people covering your 6.
Yep.
Got people taking point. It's very cool. And then when you organize it into fire teams, and they can kind of, you can in the full game, which is called Infinity N4.
That's like 4th edition, right?
I believe so. Yeah. And you can actually organize them in small fire teams and activate that whole fire team at a time.
Okay.
But I don't know much about that. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it costs one order and you can activate them all, but it's not as good. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. I was going to ask about that because the one we played was like a skirmish mode.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I'm like, oh, not like there's not like a squad of 5, or anything like that. Sounds like maybe fire team adds that.
It's not really a squad in your typical like, we move these and we have to stay in cohesion. There's still 5 individual units.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't think there's any limit on where like how close they have to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still the same idea of a game. It's still individual models and skirmish. The fire teams just mean these 3 work really well together. They've been on missions together.
Yep.
Yeah, they're in this squad together, but these 3, fire team Harris.
Yep.
And then you got fire team Delta or whatever,
Yeah.
Whatever. They may have little things that they can each do as part of their rapport with each other or whatever.
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
it's
fire
dope.
team Charlie.
Yeah, I believe you can.
Yep.
And like, it's got a free app, which is just fantastic.
You had me at app.
Yeah, and it's a great app.
Is it Android?
It's whatever you want, baby.
Better be.
Yeah, it's Android and iOS for those multi-coding people.
Web-based.
Bilingual. Yeah, good question about web-based. To be honest, I haven't tried. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Their website's great too because Infinity is an interesting game where things are quite nuanced in their loadouts.
Churchy, what are you doing?
Yeah, there is a cricket in here. It attacked Shane earlier.
I was worried for my life.
You were brave though, dude.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
You were
Fended it off.
incredibly
And then it was
brave.
coming for you.
I know.
It was climbing up the wall, getting the high ground.
Yeah, but I took my arrow and I used dodge. I used
true.
dodge.
True.
So we played Code 1,
Yep.
which is a streamlined version of N4.
Yep.
And it's streamlined. I feel like it does the basic, I want to air quotation, basic rules a little bit different to every other game. I feel like other games will say, hey, these are the basic rules, the core rules.
Yeah.
And then you can add on these, like you can add cover or you can add this or you can add that. Code 1 does it a little bit differently where it gives you the full set of rules.
Yep.
But limits each one a little bit.
Yeah. So instead of cutting things out, it just like compresses everything a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So you know how to play the full game.
Yeah.
But you don't have all the weapons. You don't have all the models.
Yeah. All the activations.
I feel like you can do everything.
Okay.
But when you hack, maybe you can pick a couple of programs instead of a list of 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is the equivalent of like, I guess, psychic powers. It'd be like picking 1 or 2 psychic powers instead of from the entire list.
Yeah.
So the downside of N4 is at the moment, it came out in 2020, so it's right before COVID.
Yeah.
Rough.
Fresh.
Yeah. So it is. It's new.
Yep.
It only has, maybe it has 6 factions now, maybe 8,
Okay.
which is great because usually they release a Code 1 box set,
With new factions.
which brings existing factions from N4 into Code 1.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So there are some factions from N4 that you can't use in Code 1.
There's a lot, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's sort of been the drawback from N4 up until I would say nowish.
Yep.
Where more than half of the factions are in.
Yep.
It's like, hey, you can only use some factions, and even when you bring your faction, you can't use all your models.
Okay. So which makes sense because you can't use. I imagine you can't use bikes and stuff like that, right?
I actually don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Everyone
I'm new too. Yeah. So, but
that.
yeah, maybe not. Maybe, I don't know if they've limited tag, but I know even just some of the models.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a couple assassins I have where it's just like, they don't exist in Code 1.
Now, there's no vehicles, right?
Bikes.
Besides bikes.
There is I know Hackaslam have a really big iconic scorpion, big dude.
Okay. But he's more like a walking.
Yeah, I'd say he's more like a droid. A Zoid.
A Zoid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Zoid. Nice.
And so there's big mechanized things, but I wouldn't say there's any vehicles.
Yeah. Well, there's no tanks. There's no cars. There's no
There's just bikes.
like flyers. Yeah.
No, it's just bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing that people are on that go. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Because it is played on small, dense maps.
What size wooden or
3x3 or 4x4?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you. But it's one of those. 50-50.
50-50,
As all things should be. So yeah, Code 1 is a streamlined version. The idea is if once you're playing enough and you're confident with Code 1, you can step into N4 and you don't have to learn hacking, you just have to learn those extra programs. You don't have to learn how guns work. You just need to learn a few new guns and things like that.
That is really cool. Like we played the first mission from the book, which was like 3 guys against 3 guys.
Yeah.
The basics, and then you were showing me that the next mission has more basics and everything just goes up and up, more guns, everything like that. So that I feel like that would be a really nice way to like just slip into it.
It's fantastic. And I think they tried to do that with all their Code 1 box sets.
Yep.
So they bring across 2 new factions, new models, I believe, as well. I think all of these, new models. So it's like, hey, here's some cool ones. So even if you're in N4, the value of the box is worth grabbing for the models and the terrain and all that. But if you're playing Code 1, the book does teach you everything.
Yep.
And so this one's got 6 missions. I'm pointing over there. It's right next to me for those looking. So this is Operation Blackwind. You were just using proxies.
Yeah.
I sold the other half of this to Burnsy.
Yes.
And so he's painting up the ALEF, which, I mean, there's a little bit of lore for... It's great because it's like... It teaches you a little bit about Hack Islam, specifically the models that you have.
Yeah.
And then it shows you some paint stuff. It's really cool. ALEF, and then it does the same thing.
They're kind of cool looking dudes.
Yeah, they're sweet. I thought ALEF was something. I'm not going to read it now. A couple of little alternate color things. There's more like hobby stuff in the back of this book. So they've really done well for this thing that they just throw in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's got lore on the mission that we're playing, which is Operation Blackwind.
Yep.
But then, it's got weapon profiles and mission 1 called The Breeze. And the idea is that it's a layered name. It's supposed to be a breeze for new players to get into it.
Yep, I get it.
Yeah, and then it's the breeze before the wind of
picking up what they're putting down.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, like you said, mission 2, we add in a couple more gun profiles and new mechanic. Mission 3, we add 2 new mechanics. Mission 4, 2 new people. Yeah, anyways. By the time you play mission 6, you're using everything.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, which is great. And that took us an hour.
Yeah, really did. And that was, me knowing nothing.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
That was good. I'll actually, I feel like I could play again now. No worries.
Yeah.
That same mission.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, next time you just smash through that mission you probably get halfway through and be like, okay, I remember now.
Yeah.
Let's go to mission 2.
Yeah.
Because, So I'm curious, what are your first impressions of physically playing the game?
Yeah. Enjoyed it, obviously. Rolling dice.
Yeah.
Everything felt intuitive. Like, you explained quite a few things at the start.
Yeah.
And then you won the roll off to go first. So you went first. You did basically a move kind of action.
Yeah.
Nothing much happened on the first activation or first turn for either of us.
Sure. Yeah, true.
But then, by the end of it, it was kind of like just knowing the stats to roll against, like the target number for the dice.
Yeah.
Having to roll under the number. Yeah. But then, oh no, hang on, this roll, you got to roll over the number. Yeah. I was just like, why? Like, why are you changing up halfway through? Yeah. But nah, loved it. It's good. I can definitely see myself playing it more.
It's, and I like Code 1. Some people just play Code 1. Yeah. And they go, that's it. Like, that's all I need.
I can see that. I could see myself doing that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just playing Kill Team.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like just playing 1-page rules without ever adding any of the paid for rules.
Which is what I've been doing. I haven't used any of the advanced rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's great because it doesn't require any extra demand. Like the actual Infinity's dense. Oh, it's a heavy game. Yeah. Because all the metal models. But like there's a lot, physically heavy to carry your army.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only 10 models, but weighs 10 kilos.
Yep.
So it's a deep game, so you got to be playing it off. It's like 40k in that sense.
Yeah,
you want to be playing often to keep the rules fresh in your head. So each game isn't spending 3 hours relearning stuff. Yeah, that's what the boxing kangaroo says. Shane's got a small boxing kangaroo toy.
It's not a toy. It's a pen.
Oh, that's somehow worse, actually.
What do you mean worse?
Well, I mean, it's functional, but...
Toys are for kids. Pen. They say pen is mightier than the sword.
Well, they do. A person who has never owned a sword said that once. And not to mention, like, the only requirement to have that pen is a pen license, which I think you get in, like, grade 5. So you could be a kid and have a pen. So pens are also for kids. Would you say something about kangaroos?
Fuck you, man.
But boxing gloves are for adults. So think about that.
Yep.
So how did you feel? Like, using D20s was always cool to me.
Yeah. Yep. D10, yeah, fine. It works well.
Yeah. Apart from the confusing roll under things.
Roll under,
except
roll
for the
over,
thing.
roll equal to, and you still lose somehow.
Yeah, I love Infinity.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, the concept is like you basically, anytime you're doing a skill check,
Yeah.
you're trying to roll under a number.
Yep.
But it just gets confusing, like you said, say your ballistic skill's 12.
Yep.
You're trying to roll under a 12 for that ballistic skill to hit.
Yep.
For that
But
shot
if
to
you
hit.
roll a 12, that's a crit.
That's a crit.
Yep.
Now, I mean, unless we played it wrong, unless they explained it poorly in the book.
Of course, it's the book's fault.
If you take it, like if you're shooting someone in cover,
Yep.
it's -3 to your ballistic skill, so it goes from a 12 to a 9.
Yep.
So now a 9 or under is a hit,
Yep.
and a 9 is a crit.
Because they're in cover.
Because they're in cover.
But you might also have a +3 on your certain range for your gun.
Yeah.
So it goes back up to 12 again.
Yeah.
So to cancel that out.
Exactly.
Yep.
So now back to a 12.
Back to 12.
A 1 always fails.
Yeah.
And a 20 almost always fails.
Okay.
Because, you can modify something up to ±12.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the
Wow.
rule. You could probably do more than that, but the cap is 12.
Yeah.
So in theory, some things could be more than 20.
Yep.
And so you have to roll. Not
How
a
does that
one.
even
Not a
work?
one.
Not a one.
A 1
Yeah,
always
yeah.
fails, so not a
Yep.
1.
That's all right.
And then you got face-off rolls. It's really good. It's really deep. A lot of people that have played it will just be screaming at us. They're like, talk about the AROs or talk about this.
Yeah.
But there is a lot to it. AROs are the best mechanic of the game, I think.
I did really enjoy that, and like the way that you explained it, how you can pick when in your opponent's move you're reacting.
Correct, yeah.
What does ARO stand for?
I'll be honest.
Activation, reaction,
Or automatic reaction order.
Oh yeah.
Automatic reaction order. I think I
Yeah.
said that weird, but yeah. It's something like that because the
Yeah.
idea is I know it's something reaction order.
Yeah.
I'm scampering through the rules to try and find it.
Find it.
I can do this. It's called, like, off the top of my head, it's like a I mean, who knows? I can't find it.
Those tomes have been lost.
Yeah.
The records have been expunged.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Maybe I made it up.
Automatic reaction order. It
Yeah,
sounds
that's
legit.
it. It's actually it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
automatic
yeah.
reaction order. I just read it.
Yeah, so that's cool. So, and it can be multiple things, right? Like you were explaining earlier as well that if someone moves within 8 inches or whatever,
Yes.
that you could use your reaction roll even if you can't see them.
Yeah.
you can still move or do something.
Something like that.
Something.
Yeah. So the reaction order is basically you think of it as an Overwatch.
Yeah.
It's basically if it's my turn, for example, and I move a person.
Yep.
And that person that I've moved, it comes into line of sight with any of Shane's models. Shane then gets a reaction order against me.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And you work with your opponent. You say like, oh, I want to move from here to here. Can I do that in a way that you wouldn't get an ARO?
Yeah.
And usually they'll be like, oh, sorry, no, you're running across an open field. Of course you can't. You're like, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
Or if you went down this way and then went around there, you'd be fine. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because it's just easier to collaborate like that than walk around the other side of the table.
Yeah.
And try and like spot. Because in a big game when you got 13 models each,
It's not that fun.
hectic.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, you can choose what kind of order you can shoot the person whose turn it is, which is great. You can dodge and you can do other stuff.
Yeah.
And like you said, I remember someone explaining you've got like an 8-inch bubble around you.
Yep.
And if something moves in and out of that, there's a way you can have an arrow against that, even if you can't see
It's like an
him.
awareness roll or something
It's
like
like
that.
you heard him.
Yeah.
So you're like,
So then you can throw a smoke grenade or you can hack something. Or
or you headbutt a wall.
Just, because you're
You're like,
Aaron
I want to knock myself out. I always imagine if I'm in a war or something, that's what I'll do.
Okay.
And then just hope I wake up and it's over, and then everyone's like, "You survived.
Yeah.
You survived that big
You're
conflict."
Like, there was this. It was all happening.
Tyrion Lannister. That's what happened to him, right?
Maybe
he got knocked out at the start of it by his own guys, and then at the end they were like, "Hey, you're a war
about
hero."
watching Game of Thrones.
All right. Yeah, it's fine. I don't even care. After season 8, I don't care. Good, I guess.
Yeah.
Not invested. You're not crushed like the rest of us.
I'm not
Free folk.
disappointed.
So, yeah, the ARO is cool because it isn't alternate activations.
Yeah.
It is you go, then I go.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I was disappointed when you told me that.
Yeah, and I could see it in your face. I could see well, I don't want to play this then. Why am I playing a skirmish game that isn't alternating activations?
Is there ever alternating actions? Like in N4 or anything like that?
Yeah, when we have one order each left.
True.
Yeah, so the orders are, you get an order token, typically, there are exceptions to the rules, per model that you have. And you put them in a pool. And you can either spend, say you got 10 of them.
Yep.
You can spend all 10 on one model if you want. Have 10 back-to-back actions.
So you can just dart at the board.
Yep. Go one-man army.
Yep.
But then you've got one model up the board and the rest of your other 9 just chilling.
Just hanging out.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Having a brewski.
Oh, yeah.
That's all right. Where are our brewskis?
I don't even know, dude.
This is a bit of a weird one. I think we just went into it.
True.
Anyways. Or you can put one order on every model or anything in between.
Yeah.
5 on 1, 3 on, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But the way it doesn't feel like you're just having a full turn is the AROs allow your opponent to interact or at least get some sort of counter attack.
Not just what's the toughness on that unit? Oh,
okay. It's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool, now it's my turn. It's been an hour and I've lost a third.
Yeah.
Because you've already played a fair few things as you've reacted to certain things. So, yeah, it isn't alternate activations, but I think it feels like it is because if you're doing something that advantages you heavily, it usually means you've pushed and encroached on my turf enough that I've gotten an ARO against you, so to speak. So I think it balances that well.
I like it.
Cool, let's do it again.
It was fun.
Yeah. I'd love to play Mission 2 because I've never played Mission 2 of this book. I've taught Mike D this.
Oh, yeah?
Played Mission 1 with Mike D.
Did he dig it?
Yeah, he loved it.
Yep.
He's like, I'd play that again.
Yep.
I was like, woof. And that's not a war gamer, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd exist in this room with this game again. So I think they've done well. This book, mind you, the only knock I have on this like getting started Operation Blackwind book is I pretended I didn't know anything about the game, and I just don't know if it's super well written for that kind of person.
Okay. So they expect you to know at least part of maybe like N4 or something.
I don't know what they're expecting, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, I knew enough to go, okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But some things like, it's not written like a rule book.
Yep.
It's written like a, hey, don't just try and use what's in here.
Yeah.
And if you get it wrong, it'll make more sense in 6 games. Or when you go to your local and someone corrects you.
Yeah, which is, happens.
Yeah, it happens. I would rather they. It's tough. If you do rules as written, then you basically got a rule book in there, and how many pages is that, and how complicated is that for a person to sit and read through, as opposed to 3 pages, and it's like, hey, just have a bash.
I'd rather it like that, be like, just have fun with it.
Yeah, have a crack.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
You're like, AROs is written like you can only do it, and then I remember thinking, does that mean I can't do an ARO after the second action?
Yeah.
And if it does, just half a line to say that.
Yeah.
So anyways,
1 ARO per turn or something.
That stuff as well. How many AROs can you do? Doesn't say. Doesn't say. So things like that, but whatever. It was enough for us to have a bash. So
yeah, we got it. We played a game. We had fun.
Which is a huge relief because I got like 25 painted hacker slime and I've played twice. So.
I couldn't believe how many you have on that baking tray.
Yeah, there's like 7 more at home, almost finished.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so
nice.
I've got more than enough.
Yep.
So now it's nice to actually see them on the table.
Maybe I should paint some nomads.
Have you still got them? I just assumed you sold them, to be honest. You wouldn't even know.
I don't even know.
Wait, is that them up? No, I'm just kidding. Can't see them. If you've got them, dude,
I find
Zenithal and some red, whatever. Just whatever.
Yeah, we got Tamsin.
What's
her real name? Something.
Yeah. And there's a new one of her.
Really?
Cassandra
Kusanagi.
Yeah, that's right.
I think.
Yeah. Don't at me. It's a hobby homies guarantee. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's got a new, maybe even a plastic model coming because they're starting to dabble in plastic.
Oh, okay.
Not for their full range, just here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
Testing the waters, I guess. But I'm excited about that. Man, Churchy, you guzzled that water.
Churchy's one thirsty boy.
Churchy the thirsty. Churchy's so thirsty. Yeah, man, you just destroyed that.
Far out, dude.
That's like that thing where they go, I showed you guys that last time, right? Where they go, and then it's just gone. I don't understand it, but I love it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's Infinity.
Yeah, that was Infinity. Yeah, that was our game. I won.
Oh, yeah, it was a great game.
It was a shootout. And there was a brawl at the end.
Yeah, like one of my dudes jumped over a barrier and blasted two of yours, and I was like,
straight up.
Oh, cool, this is going to be a 20-minute game.
Yeah, yeah. I was just like, what am I even doing, silly?
Yeah.
Just leave.
Yeah, and I'm glad you didn't because, yeah, then one of yours took out two of mine because you only had one left.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess one of yours took out all three of mine.
I did. Actually
crazy.
carried the whole team.
Yeah, great. And at the end, we were just like rolling off because we were in a fight.
Yep.
And none of us are backing out of that.
Nah.
No way. We're going to walk
Didn't
out
even
this
know you
door.
could.
No, me neither. I probably can't. I don't know. It's not in the rules because they wrote them so poorly. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not kidding.
Yeah. So it was great. It was good. It
yeah.
came down to a dice roll, I guess.
Yep.
That it always does. But so the next mission actually has objectives, so that'll be interesting.
That'd be cool.
Looking forward to it.
That was just a kill mission straight up.
Yeah.
How do the objectives work? Oh, you've never played it. What's the point of asking?
I could dare. If I wanted to, I mean,
We'll tell you
if I
next
had to
time.
hazard a guess, yeah. You tell us.
Yeah, yeah. You let us know in the comments.
So there's a big debate in the community at the moment if Code 1 is even a good thing. Some people say it actually is a negative. It splits the community because typically people either play N4 or Code 1. And a lot of N4 players who were around before Code 1 don't even know how to play. So they're like, I have to learn a whole new game. Anyways.
But those people that decide to play Code 1 instead of N4 probably wouldn't even play N4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of.
like it's how is it splitting the community, right? Like if I was like, nah, I don't want to play N4, but I'll play Code 1.
Sure.
I probably wouldn't be playing N4 anyway.
Yeah. I think it means like, for example, if I went to you're right. If I went to our local,
Yep.
I feel like no one there plays Code 1. In fact, the few times I've mentioned Code 1, they're just like, just play N4, but 100 points.
Okay.
Because, and like, I understand the premise. It's like, that's a lighter way of learning N4 is to learn the full game with few models.
Yeah.
But what I really like is Code 1 allows you to play a full-size game. It's not less models.
Yeah.
It's as many, if not more, than a regular N4 game. Because the points are cheaper. But the actual rules are streamlined.
Yeah.
So I still get to play with my 12 miniatures, but there's just less extra.
It's not going to take you 4 hours. I don't know how long an Infinity game goes for.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, it's going to take you an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's it's N4 light.
Yeah.
But you're not sacrificing the amount of models you bring.
Yeah.
And the good thing about Code 1 is you can always, once you know Code 1 well, you can step up to N4 easily if you want. So I feel like it's just the people who are playing N4 and don't really understand what it takes to drop down to Code 1. Because they're losing half of their crap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm used to doing this. Oh, I can't do that?
Yeah.
I set this whole thing up to be able to do that.
I've built
rule
this
that doesn't
army
exist
around that one particular model, which I can't even use in Code 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I feel like it's so easy to just continuously compare it to like 40k versus Kill Team. Because that's what we know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm like in my head, I'm trying to imagine like people that would be, and of course there's people out there that would be like, oh, why play Kill Team when you can play 40k? You know?
Yeah.
It's like I just imagine it'd be the same thing.
I think so. Or it would be like, you know how 8th edition indexes?
Oh, yeah.
It'd be like playing 8th edition indexes versus 9th edition codexes.
Yeah, righto.
Where it's like, or I would say it's just using the Warhammer core rules versus everything else.
Yeah.
So someone comes in and they're like, oh, wait, I can't use relics? Oh, this guy's only good with his relic. Or I can't use stratagems. Oh, I wouldn't even bring this unit.
Yeah.
Feels like it's kind of like that. And the other person's like, well, I just wanted to play Warhammer.
Yeah, I just wanted to roll dice and have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you're right. It doesn't split the community. It just means if you had people with Infinity models, 20 of them in a room, maybe 4 are playing Code 1 and 16 are playing N4. And that's kind of what they mean. They're not all playing the same game. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I could sit down here and teach you N4.
No.
It's too, like, the rule book's thick. I don't even know it, but I'd read a couple pages and we played Code 1.
Yeah.
So I think this is what it does.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth it for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yep.
One day we'll play N4.
One day. And even then, that's a good stepping stone into N4.
Yeah, it's not like we've learned anything that we're backtracking on.
No.
Or undoing rules. Everything we've just learnt is relevant for both systems.
Yeah.
So you asked about objectives. I don't know. We'll find out one time. But let us know.
Yeah.
You play Infinity? Do you like it? And that's it.
Do you like it?
What did we dum-dum?
Let us know in the comments if you like Infinity.
Do you play Code 1 or N4 and why?
Yeah. And why?
And why?
Check out hobbyhomies.com. There's links there to all of our goodness. Discord server, Facebook page, Instagram, all that nonsense.
We got a TikTok. It's got like 3 videos on it.
And a TikTok.
I showed you that one, yeah?
No? Which one?
I'll show you after.
Okay.
I think I said that last time and didn't show you. That's why we're here.
I get sent TikToks. I don't have TikTok. They just send it to me on Facebook.
Oh no!
I still have to click the link.
You're full boomer.
Doesn't display. What do you mean?
That's how boomers
They email me memes.
Yeah.
I'm a boomer too then.
Yeah, exactly.
They send you a URL in the post.
Yeah. You got to
check
type
this
it
out.
in like HTTPS.
Yeah.
/ for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, you got to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so post us a comment. Post us a comment.
Check out our second channel as well. It's just called Hobby Homies. There's links to it in the description for this one. That's where we're going to start posting our vlogs and hobby adventures.
Yeah, anything that's not a podcast episode goes there.
Yep. So we're starting to get some stuff on that. Check out Bingeworthy Breakdown. They're breaking down Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They're just done season 4 finale. So they're in season 5, so they're halfway through that season. They're going to do Die Hard. They're breaking down Die Hard, the movie.
That's dope.
As voted by their listeners. So check out that.
Yeah.
Check out all the stuff. Check out Churchy as well. Churchy Music. He is nearly at 1K subs on that channel, which is nuts because his main channel has like 9K something.
What a beast. And I believe
Animal.
His EDM cyberpunk tastiness is up to 85K plays.
Oh, that's
as we
nuts.
speak.
It slaps. It slaps
and
so
I'm
hard.
only like 7K of those. So there's people like that.
Yeah. People listen to it, dude, not just you.
It's the perfect. It's the soundtrack to
For
Infinity.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So check out all that stuff, and check out our Patreon. Without you patrons, we wouldn't be here doing what we do. So massive thank you. For as little as $2 a month, you get early access to videos and Discord roles and shout outs and all that kind of fun stuff.
What would we be doing if we weren't here? Something else.
I had so much more free time.
Yeah,
but we wouldn't have met all of you guys, especially you in the Discord.
More free time. We would just play Infinity and then talk about it to each other.
Yeah.
So thank you for the microphones.
Yeah. And thank you for Churchy.
Yeah, true. So thank you, patrons. Thank you to our squad.
Massive shout out to Farm Dinosaur, Burnsy, Lethal, Gridlock, Axe, Annex, MJ, Whack the Ewok, Test, Black Apollo.
We got Moose, Elko, Churchy. Thanks, Churchy. Rab Rooster, Ollie, Hockers, Penny twice, Aggro, Don Don, and Big Roach. If you're on our Discord, you get dope Discord roles. Not applicable right now. They're broken. We're fixing them.
I don't even know what Discord's just had a brain aneurysm.
Stuff Discord. Let's go to TeamSpeak. Perfect.
Ventrilo? Maybe.
Yeah. That's what happens when people sign up from TeamSpeak, yeah?
Yeah.
Didung. That's how we exit this podcast. Didung.
Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One